Age of the Primes Wave 1 in 3 minutes or less. Let's go. This line was originally one I planned on skipping almost in its entirety, maybe picking up a few releases every now and then. But it's quickly become one of my favorites, and for 3 reasons. One thing I always struggled with when it came to Legacy was just how loose and terrible the QC felt on some of the figures. But that's really not an issue that I have found with Age of the Primes. Nearly every single one of these figures is nice and tightly, properly toleranced, and feel absolutely awesome to mess with. Even on her worst days, with her somewhat shoddy QC, Solus feels better than most of the Legacy figures I've handled. Not gonna lie, I feel like I unfairly maligned her initially, and she will be getting a second look down the road. Not to mention, distribution got so much better. Other than Prima and Megatronus, I got all of these guys in person at stores. Not to mention, it felt like that there were plenty of them on the shelves, which meant I didn't feel rushed to get them and felt like I could come back at any time as I pleased to pick them up, something even the later waves of Age of the Prime struggled with. Also, I welcomed the return of plastic windows and packaging. Legacy's boxes always felt so lightweight, empty, and cheap, but the plastic windows added a real heft to the boxes that made them feel premium and worth their cost, at least until the price hikes. Now onto the figures. I already talked about Solus, so let's touch on the rest of the deluxes. Waspinator feels like a great example of how Age of the Primes felt like it was going a bit more above and beyond for its repaints and retools, to the point that Wasp was touted as better than the original Bumblebee release. The aerial bots showed how the team were listening to complaints, and after the fiasco with the Stunticons, made a greater commitment to completing combiner teams in a single year, and that the limbs have been overall very good. The Voyagers definitely represent some of Age of the Primes' best work. Both of these guys have excellent QC and are just super fun to pose and mess with. Prima is what kicked off my love for this line and my love for the Primes. And Red Alert is a figure I originally passed on, but I'm so glad I picked up in the end because he truly is a gem. And when it comes to leaders, 2025 truly ushered in a golden age for this size class. Megatronus, including my own, sat at the top of a lot of people's best figures of 2025 lists. And G2 Grimlock was my first time experiencing this mold, but showed me just why it's so beloved in the fandom. All in all, Wave 1 of Age of the Primes felt like the beginning of something truly awesome, and I'm glad I got to come back and talk about it once again.